Guys, we are back with Sensei, and we got so much cool stuff to talk about. Sensei is now officially an author. Yay!
Thank you.
Woo, 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 woo. And the book is called Sogobujutsu Psychology, Philosophy, and Tradition. And what is in this book, Sensei? What have you put into this?
Well, I'm not going to tell you. You have to buy it. It's available on Barnes & Noble. No, I'm just joking.
It is really, though, isn't it?
No, it is. Yeah,
on Barnes & Noble, guys.
I am going to tell you.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's available at Barnes & Noble and Amazon and 38,000 book distributors worldwide. Pretty exciting. Mostly online. You probably won't find it in bookstores because you got to sell like 10,000 copies before they stock you, before they notice you. And I don't know that there are 10,000 martial artists out there. You never know. There might be that want this. It's on warrior arts. Besides warrior arts, it's about the integration of warrior arts. It explains what Sogobujutsu is, the principles behind the tactics and techniques, why it exists, where it came from. One of the biggest things is when you claim to teach Sogobujutsu, people say, one, what is Sogobujutsu, and two, you know, how do you get the right to claim this? And that's all in there. The evidence behind the claim, also the history behind the claim. That's the tradition part. As far as technique goes, we talk about how it's applied, why it's applied that way. We talk about the philosophy that one needs to possess in their mind, the psychology behind the combat, the moods of the elements. Also, what I try to do is go deeper than any other martial arts text has ever gone. I myself have read over 87 books on ninjutsu and jujitsu and aikijujutsu, and I'll just say, for 10 years I attempted to write something. That's how long it took me. 10 years to write it. 10 years I attempted to write something that would outdo them all, and I didn't want to just outdo them. I wanted to set the standard higher than anyone could ever. You know, no one can leap over, you know, the pinnacle that I attempted to set. Every reader is going to, you know, be able to read it and say yay or nay, but there's really nothing else like it out there. That's the truth, and it bridges so many topics that haven't been covered. And everyone in martial arts writes a basic, you know, like this is my book on basic Aikido. We've seen 1,000 basic Aikido books.
Right, they're all the same.
You know, I wanted to go advanced and into, you know, very, very deep warrior philosophy and things like that most people have never heard of, never mind understand. So that's why it took so long. It wasn't just explaining it. It was also getting it, trying to hone the book to a point where I could take you along the journey with me.
So how long did it take you to put the book together in entirety?
After, well, yeah, 11 years. It was about 10 years of writing it, and then the 11th year was working with the publisher and formatting it, and reformatting it, and changing this and changing that. And one of the things that the publisher didn't like was that I was talking to an educated reader. And they were like, how do you know that this guy knows this? Well, that's who I'm talking to. I'm talking to the guy that knows martial arts. And they didn't like that at all. It had to be dumbed down to the layman. Will the layman understand it? Yes. Not because I wanted to talk to the layman, but because the publisher made it so. So,
wow.
Even if you are a layman, that took a long time, because I figured I'm going to be talking to very educated martial artists. But they were right. Now I can talk to everybody. So
I'm excited. I think I've been in this art for, oh gosh, 6 or 7 years.
Yeah.
About 5 or 6, and I'm still learning. Like, I'll come to class and Sensei will do something that I've never seen before. And I'll see other students do technique that are even belts lower than me, and I'm a blue belt, and they'll do stuff, and I'm like, wow, I've never seen that. You know, who showed you that? Sensei did. Oh, God. So it never, this art, Sensei, in my opinion, is the perfect mirror image of the art. I mean, and I haven't been in this art that long. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, if that's like, but in my own opinion, you just keep giving. The art is amazing from every angle, and you make it look so easy, you know. And I mean, of course, Sensei always says it is because it is easy.
It is easy.
I think the learning curve, it is the understanding.
Yeah.
And that's what this is. And once you have the understanding, and I'm serious, and I can only speak for myself, because I think the hard part for me was understanding the lineage, understanding where it came from, how it came about, where it was forged, why it was done, why the techniques that we still do to this day are still here, and all that is in this book. What the Japanese terms mean, all that's here, and that was my hurdle. It was like, okay, like I gotta learn Japanese now? Yeah, like we learn Japanese in class. There's new stuff that...
Yeah, but the point is like what's behind what is the meaning behind the term, you know? Because the truth is, you know, if it was about learning Japanese, then who cares about learning Japanese? I'll just name it Dave technique number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know, that's Dave technique number 88B 74C. You know, I would just
Bingo!
Come up, you know, whatever. I would just come up with my own names. You know?
Yeah,
and I've met martial artists that do that. You know, they just come up with their own names for techniques. But the reason why those techniques are important is in there. The reason why the names behind or the thinking behind the technique, the thinking behind the formation of the technique and the application of the technique is in the term, and I translate that term so that you have that understanding.
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, that's so giant. If I had this book before, I probably would have read this book before joining. But either way, Sensei makes it easy to learn it without the book, but having the book is an enormous plus.
Well, that's it, and you touched on something before too. You know, class time is taken up by a number of different things. There's your warm-up in the beginning, which we spend a little bit of time on, which is unavoidable. You got to stretch, you got to roll, you got to warm up. Then there's, you know, your physical activity. Now the drilling of drills, that can be done at home, so we don't spend a lot of time on that. We spend time on teaching you the drills, and then we tell you, go home and drill them. Now let's train our technique against each other in class. Well, another thing in class that takes up a lot of time, which is a necessary thing, but I always felt like it just took up way too much time, was the lectures. The lectures on the philosophy.
I enjoy the lectures though,
No,
but that's all in here.
That's the plan.
Yeah.
You know, I do like lecturing and I do enjoy it, but one of the reasons why I put so much on YouTube and the reason why I put so much in this book,
so we can get right to the
so
technique.
that we can get to the technique.
Yeah.
You know, and I enjoy lecturing, but if you read this book, I can lecture you now at this level. You know,
You're right.
I can start talking about, you know, this is the
huge,
thing. You know, if I have to go through and I have to talk to you about in and yo and in yo ho. Now the in yo ho is a model for creation. Okay, and how it interacts, how the world interacts. So if you're just like, yeah, I got that, then we can move on. You know, we can move on to bigger and greater things. You know, if you have an understanding of what so many things are, like the heiho of the Godai no heiho, which is like the strategy of the 5 elements. What's the spiritual application of what's the physical, what's the emotional, what's the mental? If you've got all that, which is all in the book, then let's move on. You know?
But that's what's so cool. And he doesn't really, I don't know if he understands how cool that is, because I would sit and listen to that all day long